Yeah, I'm Mark.
And I'm Kendrick.
And this is Movies in Black and White.
Sonic! Or it's, it's Sega! But we're doing Sonic the Hedgehog today.
Yes.
That's quite literally my childhood video game.
Yeah, it would be yours.
We were talking about this earlier. When did Sonic the Hedgehog came out, the video game? June
23rd, 1991.
Yeah, I was still like 3 months away from being born.
I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, that's
actually
the age
graduated before that. But,
oh, that was the year you graduated, was 1991?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Yes. So I graduated in May.
Wow. And little did you know I was only 4 months away from the world. No, but we're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog today, the latest attempt at a video game movie adaptation. And it actually succeeded.
It succeeded very well.
They're starting to get the hang of this. Like I was telling you earlier, I thoroughly enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I grew up with Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I still play Pokemon to this day.
Here's the thing. Anything with Ryan Reynolds voicing over is... he just does a great job.
Like I told you earlier, that movie would not have succeeded without Ryan Reynolds. It just wouldn't.
Not at all.
Even though you had Bill Nighy and what's his name, Ken Watanabe.
Right.
It wouldn't have succeeded without Ryan Reynolds. He quite literally made that movie. This movie, Sonic, would have done good, but it was made by Jim Carrey. If Jim Carrey wasn't in it, it wouldn't have been near as good, but it would still been a decent movie. But Jim Carrey sold the Dr. Robotnik.
Vintage 90s Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, this is Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, this is Jim Carrey at his finest goofiness. I mean, I laughed more at this movie than I thought I would. That entire Birds of Prey. Like, I told my wife that I was going to like this more than Birds of Prey, and I did, and I loved it, and I knew it. Like, I knew it like a whole lot more than Birds of Prey. But it had a really good cast, though. Like, so obviously it had Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. It had James Marsden as Sonic's human friend, Tom, who's a cop, the Donut Lord.
The Donut Lord, yes.
That was funny. That was really good.
Talks to the donuts, and then he punishes
them. And then he was married to the pretzel lady. Because she does yoga. And then the Sonic was voiced by Ben Schwartz.
Yes.
And Ben Schwartz is an amazing voice actor. Like, he does a really good job at it.
Listen, the originals were done by Jaleel White, which I had no idea that until like 5 years ago. He does a fantastic job.
He does.
Taking the baton.
He does. He does a really good job. And
really was Sonic.
He is Sonic, the fast talking, the way he emotes, the whole 9 yards. He was an amazing Sonic. And they did his facial capture for this movie.
Okay.
And I think it would have shown more. Like, his facial expressions were really good, but I think his facial expressions were shown more with the previous design because it was a little more human.
Let's go into that a little bit.
Okay. So, obviously, when the first trailer dropped back in 2018? End of 2018?
Yeah, end of 2018.
They dropped the trailer, and Sonic had a very different look than from what he has now. It was a very human kind of features, more animalistic human. And it got some fucking backlash. It was miserable. It was
immediately.
Bad. Oh, it was quick backlash. It was torn down. So the director Jeff Fowler came out and said, "Okay, we hear you. We're gonna take the time to fix this. We're pushing the movie's release date to 2020. Just bear with it." Maybe it was the beginning of 2019.
Well, it was the end of 2018 that this came. The trailer came out, and it was the biggest, probably the biggest scandal.
Oh, it was huge. Like, people were.
Of 2019.
Yeah, people were lividly pissed off. Let's see, the marketing. Okay, here's a picture of the original face on... Yeah, that's a world of difference compared to what it looked like. I mean, the first scene where you saw Sonic and he was squinting his eyes in the original trailer, it kind of looked like Sonic, but when he had his regular normal eyes and the big old teeth, I was like,
that thing?
That's Sonic. Okay, so it came out, the teaser poster was released on December 10th, 2018, and the trailer wasn't long after that. And people were pissed. Like, they were livid. And understandably so. Sonic is a very distinct look. He's always had that look. And especially after Detective Pikachu, how they made all the Pokemon look like the actual Pokemon and pulled out of the game world into the real world. They were understandably pissed. So they took the time, they went back, and they redesigned Sonic to his original look. And then they posted out the trailer. And once that trailer came out, everybody was a little more on board.
Exactly.
And I'm glad they did. Because this movie... was a whole lot more enjoyable with that character looking. Like,
you wanted to see Sonic the Hedgehog. You didn't want to see some
knockoff.
Weird
this was that was a Dollar Tree Sonic compared to this one.
That's exactly right.
But they did a really good job with his redesign, and he was funny. Like, it was Sonic. Like, he had to go fast. He liked his chili dogs, the whole 9 yards.
Right. The chemistry between the three of them
Yes, him, Jim Carrey, and James Marsden.
Yeah. Well, it was excellent.
You could tell they had the antithesis role between him and Jim Carrey. Like they really didn't like each other, and it really showed. And it was, God, Jim Carrey was so funny in that movie. He legit cracked me up at every turn. My buddy and I, we went and saw it this morning, and we were just laughing our asses. We're two grown men in the theater just laughing at this child movie.
I was sitting there, when we saw the trailers with Jim Carrey, I was like, oh, this is going to be good, great. Yeah. But then when he got out of the truck, and he's talking to the military dude, and he does...
I'm sorry, what was your name? General?
And he goes off into the little thing, and he does this with the Jim Carrey, sidebar type thing. It's like, okay.
Nobody cares.
He's in it.
He did good. It was so funny. I mean, one of my favorite scenes was when him and his lackey, Stone, were walking out of a bar that Sonic had just tore up with Tom.
Yeah.
And Stone goes to give him a high five, and instead of giving a high five, Robotnik just throat jabs him. He goes, left yourself wide open for that, and kept walking. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to start doing that because that's perfect.
That one and the Starbucks interaction.
Yeah. I just figured you'd like a latte with this pasteurized goat milk, sir. Of course I do. I love your lattes.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff.
He's so funny when he gets loud. Like this, I haven't seen Jim Carrey like this.
No,
for quite a while. The probably last movie I remember seeing him like this, and even a little bit, was Fun with Dick and Jane.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time.
If you haven't seen Fun with Dick and Jane, that's a pretty good movie. It's enjoyable. The first time I watched it, I didn't like it because I grew up with, Lloyd and Ace Ventura and Liar Liar. I grew up with those movies, seeing Jim Carrey that way, and then he started to mellow it down a little bit. But now he seems to be coming back full force.
Yeah,
and I'm enjoying it.
This was a return to form.
God, he's so... And The Mask. I also grew up with The Mask.
That's great, too.
But the cast is really good, like we said. It's got Ben Schwartz, Jim Carrey, Jim Marsden, Tika Sumpter, which played James Marsden's wife.
Correct.
Let's see. Adam Pally, Neil McDonough, Tom Butler, Frank C. Turner, and Natasha Rothwell. And then they had Colleen Villard voice a character from the video games, which is a spoiler at the end credits. Tails appeared. And it looked just like Tails from the game. So clearly they took all the redesign and just made it cross-platform. The only one that they didn't seem to have redesigned that just still looked like what Sonic looked like originally was the owl. The owl kind of fell out of place a little bit because it just looked like an owl. Yeah. While everybody was more exaggerated features, like Sonic had his big old eyes, the echidnas, the characters that are related to Knuckles, they had the big old eyes, Tails had the big old eyes, but the owl just had normal, regular sized eyes. And it just kind of looked a little off, but I didn't question it too much because she was only in the movie for all of a few minutes.
And she wasn't a regular...
no, she was a brand new character.
Yeah, exactly.
At least to the best of my knowledge, she's a brand new character. Sonic has a colorful history. He has all his games, cartoons, numerous cartoons, comic books, Archie comic books. He's been in a lot of things. So he has quite the history. And if you don't know much about Sonic and his history, you're not going to miss anything from this movie. This movie hints at that stuff and shows it, but it's not going to take away from the enjoyment of this movie.
There's tons of Easter eggs if you're a Sonic fan.
Yeah.
Plus, little note, that franchise has made $9 billion since its inception.
Sonic has?
Yes.
Really?
$9 billion.
Damn. See,
it's amazing.
I knew this was going to be a good movie when it opened, the opening credits. Sega had its own production logo come up, and it was showing all the old video games that they made and stuff.
Right,
and then it showed the Sega theme, and the music, it wasn't sung out, but the music made it sound like it was saying Sega. I was like, it gave me chills, and I was like, ooh, that's my childhood right there.
Yeah.
I grew up with the Sega. I didn't grow up with the Super Nintendo. I grew up with the Sega.
Right.
So that was everything to me, and I was like, I want to go home and play Sonic the Hedgehog now.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Speaking of Easter eggs, you get some of the Easter eggs from the name of the town that they're in.
Green Hills, Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of the levels on
well,
Sonic.
his original homeworld. So Sonic is a space alien, I guess, is how they classify him. And he lived on this world that looked a lot like Green Hill Zone from the original game, from the first level of the original game. And he ends up having to leave his world because he's being hunted for his powers. I guess his super speed is unique to him.
Right.
Which is weird, because I'll get into that in a minute. But it's unique to him, and the echidnas and other people are trying to get him, so Longclaw makes him leave. And the rings that you collect in the game are actually used as portals in this movie, which is cool, because in the original games and stuff, the rings kind of took him to other worlds, the big rings that you could find throughout the map. Right. So it wasn't uncalled for having those rings as portals, but how he used them was really cool. So Longclaw took him and hit him on Earth, and I guess she sacrificed herself. It's never really shown. I'm assuming she sacrificed herself.
She did, because she got shot.
Yeah, she got shot right in the side with an arrow, but
they were coming after her.
I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up in the sequel.
Might be.
But and there's going to be a sequel, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But he gets hidden away on Earth as a kid, and he spends the next 10 years growing up on Earth, technically alone, but he fills his time by spying on the people of Green Hills, Montana, where Tom is and his wife is, and he gets to know all these people by just watching them. Gets to know them all, and there's this one guy, Crazy Carl, who's aware of Sonic and calls him the Blue Devil, and they had the stupid cameo of Sonic. That pissed me off when I saw. I was like, really? We gotta do this? But he's aware of Sonic, and he's trying to hunt him down, and one of the funnier scenes was when Crazy Carl was trying to capture him, and Sonic was getting all the bear traps going, led him into his own, Crazy Carl's own trap where he pulled him up, and he goes, I know you're out there, and Sonic yells from the distance, nobody's here! Yeah. So, that was like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not yet. No, I'm not.
It's like, it's funny stuff, man.
They did a really cool job with his powers, though.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody I read or heard about was complaining that it's too much like Quicksilver. It's too much like the Flash. I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's what Sonic is.
I mean, you have to understand, when you're dealing with super speed,
it can only be done so many ways.
Exactly. Yeah. It's only going to be done so many ways. Yeah. So, I mean, you're going to look kind of like these other characters. And the bar scene, where he goes into that.
And time just stops.
Yeah, it just stops, and he eats the Coney dogs.
The chili cheese dogs, and ties everybody up. Yeah, kind of the toilet paper.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to say something about the mushroom world.
Yeah.
That I was looking at, and I'm like going, because they kept kind of poking fun at Mario.
Yeah.
all this mushroom. Yeah. Okay. So I think they probably, that has a hint, this boring mushroom world filled with nothing.
God, I don't like mushrooms. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So he's pretty much told if he ever gets caught, he needs to leave and go to other worlds. So he always talks about going to the mushroom world. So he ends up, his powers are kind of uncontrollable. His super speed's not, but he has this other power when he gets frustrated or his emotions get out of control. He starts to produce blue lightning.
Yes.
And he harnesses it by... The big time it shows it, he had an EMP blast.
Right.
And it took out a huge part of the country. Mm-hmm. So the government starts coming down on him trying to figure out where this came from, if it was a terrorist attack, if it was all that. And that's when they call in Robotnik. And right from the get-go, when they're talking about bringing in Robotnik, everybody's like, please don't bring in this crazy guy. Nobody wants him around. Don't bring in this crazy bastard.
Who's the guy from Battlestar Galactica? It was the Cylon. It was the one general. He says,
"Oh, the goofy
dumpster
general?
fire of a mind he has."
Yeah. So a tire dumpster fire. Yeah. It was a genuinely funny movie. There was quite a few laughters, and it wasn't just by Jim Carrey.
No,
it was all the way around. There was some product placement in there. They talked about Zillow several times and Olive Garden,
especially.
But it was funny. It was tongue in cheek product placement. Yes. They knew what they were doing.
Exactly.
It kind of made me hungry for Olive Garden afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Because here we're family.
The funny thing about it is James Marsden has been in comedic roles before.
Yeah. 27 Dresses.
Yeah, he was in a Death at a Funeral.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I have not seen it.
Oh, man, you've got to watch that.
James Marsden.
That's a good movie.
He's mostly well known for playing Cyclops in X-Men. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like him. I felt like he was never... I feel like he's always been underutilized.
I think he did a really good job, yeah. I do too.
Real quick side note, did you know that in the concept art for this movie, it wasn't James Marsden in the concept art, it was Chris Evans.
Really?
Yeah, I saw some concept art and it was Chris Evans. You could... I love James Marsden, but could you imagine Chris Evans in this movie?
That would be funny.
Seeing him and Jim Carrey go back and forth?
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he was also in Anchorman 2, Legends.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh, he played Burt Reynolds in the extended cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I haven't seen the extended cut yet.
There's an extended cut? I gotta go look for that. We'll talk about that later. I gotta go find that. Dang, that's gonna be wild. I can't wait to watch that. But it was good. I mean, so once they started hunting him down, Sonic goes, and that's when he gets involved with Tom and actually meets him. He's always watched. When Tom and his wife were having movie night, Sonic would pop up through the window and just watch. Without them knowing, and his favorite movie was Speed.
Right.
And what was the quote? What was the quote?
I can't remember.
It was Pop Quiz Hot Shot.
Yeah.
And so he used that later in the movie because he loved the line so much. And like one of the coolest things was he had a stack of Flash comic books, and that's all he read was just the Flash comic books. He loved the Flash. So that's when he gets involved with Tom. When the government starts hunting down Robotnik, tries to find him, and he's going to leave to go to the Mushroom World. Mm-hmm. But Tom comes in and shoots him with the tranq gun because he thought it was a raccoon into the trash cans.
Right.
And then that's when the meow scene came in from the trailers, popped him with that dart, and Sonic passed out. Well, he read Tom's shirt, which said San Francisco, because Tom was getting ready to move to San Francisco to become a cop there, because he wanted to have somebody turn to him and say, "Save my life," and see what he would do. Like, that was one of his bucket lists. He wanted to save somebody's life and see what he would do in that situation. And when he saw San Francisco, the ring fell out of his hand and opened a portal to San Francisco, and his bag of rings fell through there. So then it became a buddy road movie.
Yeah, exactly.
A road trip movie. And that was funny. Like, I will say, the first third of the movie was great. The second third, it felt a little off-kilter, a little weird compared to what you got in the first third. Right. And then the last third, where it was the final battle and all that stuff, was really good. Like, it really stepped up.
And one of the things, they carried a lot of things over from the game, obviously. But one of the things they did carry over, which was really cool, was him kind of getting hurt without his rings.
Yeah.
It really having more of an effect on him when he didn't have his rings.
One of my favorite parts from they pulled from the video game was when, towards the end, when Dr. Robotnik showed up with all his drones and everything, he shot him and they fell down that building, and Sonic saved Tom and his wife. I keep forgetting the wife's name. It was Maddie. I just keep wanting to call her Pretzel Lady. Yeah, but when Maddie and Tom fell off that building because Sonic pushed them to save their life, he threw a portal to get them out of there, but throw them back to Green Hill. Yeah. And he hit the ground after falling through a tree, and his rings fell all around him and all the machine parts, and all of a sudden he gets up and picks up all his rings real quick. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cute. That's real cute. I like that.
And of course, he's... Okay, Eggman.
Yeah. The banter was really good. Like, it was really good. So, they go through their whole spiel. Like, I like when they stopped at the sister's house, Maddie's sister's house.
Oh, yeah.
And they tied her up and everything. That was so funny. Jojo! Let your mom catch me, Jojo! Yeah. It was funny. Like, I keep saying, it was genuinely funny movie. Like, I cannot recommend it enough just for the comedy alone. No. Like, we took my buddy's daughter to go see it, and she enjoyed it, but I think him and I liked it more because we enjoyed the humor. Like, they snuck in some adult humor there, and it was good for the kids, but I enjoyed it much more because I grew up with those games. Right. And I feel that any guy or girl that grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog is going to genuinely love this movie.
I agree.
It was thoroughly enjoyable. But the final battle in that between him and Robotnik was amazing. And the fact that Robotnik could keep up with Sonic because he had one of his quills was really cool. Like, that can explain how Robotnik was always keeping up with Sonic and able to take him on. Yeah. And the whole fight scene where they went around the whole world was really well done. Like, it was really cool. The visuals were top notch. Everything about it was really cool.
And, really kind of, those things draw back to the games as well. Jumping through to, Egypt and different things like that. Different places. The scene where he's just super bouncing off of, the truck and everything like that. Yeah. And all of the stuff. It's like, wow.
Well, they really did a good job showcasing Sonic's powers and how he was discovering them as he went. Like, when he rolled up into a ball with his blue lightning, he harnessed it again because he was upset at Tom moving to San Francisco when he found out. Right. And he rolled into a ball and blew up that truck. Mm-hmm. It was really cool to see him discovering his own powers as he went. Yeah. The one thing I didn't care for was the goddamn Fortnite dance he did with the backpack floss or whatever. Oh my god, that drove me nuts. But he's got a really iconic dance that he does, and he did it when he got his new shoes.
Guess what?
Yeah, it's for kids.
Yeah, I know. What that was for. Yeah.
I don't like seeing my childhood character be used for today's children. I don't care about them. I want it for me. No, it's nice that it's built for today's kid. Like, these kind of characters can live forever because they can adapt to everything the new kids are doing nowadays, which is great. And it's cool also that they throw in stuff for older people now, like me, that enjoy it as I was a kid.
Hey, you're paying the money.
Yeah, that's right. I'm paying the goddamn ticket price. Yeah, right. So, the final battle was really cool. But what was really cool, and I thought about this while watching it, is when Sonic was harnessing his power at the end. Like, he got full control of it, And he was telling Robotnik, this is my power, you're not using it anymore. And he was taking back his energy from the quill. Right. Or what seemed like he was taking back the energy from the quill. And he was all blue. I mean, he was lighting up like Christmas. I mean, his eyes were super blue, and his eyes are normally green. And he was staring at Robotnik, and Robotnik was staring back. And Robotnik put on his glasses. You could see the silhouette of Sonic through those goggles. And Sonic looked like a monster. Like, he looked kind of creepy through those goggles with that reflection. Right. I was like, man, that's how Robotnik sees him. And usually he looks cute. Even when he was all powered up, he still looked cute. He looked like Sonic. Right. And he looked normal. But when Robotnik was staring at him, he looked scary. And I think that's how Robotnik sees him. They did a really good job of showing how Robotnik saw him. And, man, Sonic whooped his ass. Like, he went hard on him. And he kept hitting the top of his ship like you had to in the games, which was really cool. But they did it enough to where it didn't feel like it was just a video game adaptation. It felt like it could really be the case. Because he had to smack the shit out of that ship to blow it up. And then he pushed him into the mushroom world. Yeah.
He said, I'll get back. Because he still had one of the quills. Yeah.
What did he say? He said, limited chance of survival. No food, no supplies. Nobody here to help me but my own wits. I'll be back by Christmas. Yeah. And that's when he really looked like Robotnik with a big old mustache bald head. And everything. And then I liked how he made a rock into stone, his cohort, and kept talking to him like he was there. And then told him to go do some rock reconnaissance and laughing. Like, that's funny right there. Rock reconnaissance. Like, it was genuinely funny. And then the end credits scene after the beginning end credits where they're all animated and stuff. Right. They showed Tails showing up looking for Sonic. But what got me was Tails had super speed and he could fly. Yeah. I thought that Sonic was this special creature that everybody was hunting down because of his super speed. But yet here's Tails.
And he's zipping
while flying. It's like, it's not going to take him long to find Sonic.
No.
It's not going to take him long at all. He's acting like it's a huge urgency, which I think is going to lead directly into the sequel. Yeah. And my buddy told me, he goes, man, I wish they would have done the Chaos Emeralds where he goes Super Saiyan. Because Sonic, when he gets all the Chaos Emeralds in the game, he turns completely gold. Right. And we call him Super Sonic.
Yeah, exactly.
And my buddy goes, damn, I wish they would really show them. I'm like, I guarantee you they're saving that for the sequel. Like, it's going to be a thing at some point. And it'll look cool, especially after they did all that blue lightning stuff. Right. It'd be really cool to see that.
They're going to, I mean, especially with the box office the way it is.
It's killing the box. It's been number 1 2 weekends in a row, and the first weekend it opened was a 4-day weekend.
Correct.
And it's already made $203 million off a $95 million budget. So it's going to make its money. Yeah. It's successful at that point. And it's well received. Like, I think it was, at one point, it's at 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. Which is good for a video game movie. Because usually they're in the low. They're usually below 50. Right. I think Detective Pikachu was a bit above it in Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was like a 69, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was above it on reception. Yeah, it was a 69. Okay. So it's above it on reception, but money-wise, Sonic is making more money right now. Yeah. Because Detective Pikachu made $433 million off a $150 million budget. It's gonna beat that because it's only at least it should beat that. Now here's the deal: everybody goes, "Oh, it's already making more money than Detective Pikachu." Yeah, because Detective Pikachu had to put a Band-Aid over the video game adaptation industry. Like it was the first actual really good video game adaptation movie worldwide received.
I agree.
I thought Warcraft was really good. I think that there are some really good video game adaptation movies.
That was a really good movie.
And they've had to repair their industry as they went, but Detective Pikachu really bridged that gap. They bridged it enough for Sonic to be able to run the way it's running. Right. If Sonic would have came before, then Detective Pikachu would have done better. Mm-hmm. One of them had to do it. Right. Detective Pikachu was first. It did it well enough to be able to set up for more of these. And every video game reaction at this, I think they finally pinpointed how to do it right.
I think you're correct.
To where they're going to be able to keep these moving. The only one I don't think is going to be any good is going to be Monster Hunter. Do you know about this movie? No. Do you know the Monster Hunter games?
No.
It's a Japanese game where you pretty much just go and kill giant monsters. It's a grindy game where you keep killing the same monsters to get yourself better armor and stuff.
Right.
It's being made by the guy that did the Resident Evil movies.
Okay.
And those weren't bad movies, but they were not anywhere near their game. And it's got Mila Jovovich in it. What is his name? It was Paul W.S. Anderson, I think is his name. Does that sound right? I think that's right. Pretty sure it is. He's doing that movie, and if it's anything like his Resident Evil movies, it probably will not be well received. It'll do well in the box office, I imagine, but it probably won't be well received. And it may do more damage than it does good to this industry for these movies. And they're really making strides. Yeah, I was right. Paul W.S. Anderson. they're really trying to make strides to rebuild that after
I believe so. Yeah. Okay. With that being said, what video game would you like to see made into a movie?
See, that's hard because I'm such a huge gamer. There's so many good ones, but there's also ones I don't want them to touch. Now, if they do shows like they did The Witcher, I'm behind that because video games are such long story format telling. It's hard to compound it into, an hour and a half, 2 hour movie.
Right.
So, like, my favorite games of all time are the Mass Effect trilogy.
Okay.
That could not be done in a movie format. You need to do that in the same vein as Game of Thrones and stuff like that, where you can do long format storytelling. Games like Sonic, where they were short, quick adventures, they were meant to be done quick, can be more easily turned into a movie because you have more of creative freedom.
So on that line, like you'd have like a Metroid or something like that.
I would like to see Mega Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, personally Mega Man.
I'd like to see that too.
That being said, they did this with Super Mario back in the day. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
That movie was trash fire.
It was terrible. That was horrible. It was terrible because they had no idea how to do. We didn't have the technology.
No, that movie was way before it should have been made.
Yeah,
truly. And it was dumpster fire. I can't even watch it. Like, I refuse. Quite frankly.
Paul Leguizamo.
Yeah, it was Paul Leguizamo, and it was what's his name? He was Mario Brothers. Let me look. I can tell you. They're actually remaking it. Did you know that?
I did not.
Well, they're thinking about. I think they were doing a animated movie. Nintendo's thinking about getting back into the movie industry because that put a sour note in their mouth after that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It really, they were like, no, we're not going to do this. This was a bad idea. It was just a hot mess. They were pissed. They were upset, and they said you could have ruined one of our greater characters. So they said it was John Leguizamo. That's right. Let's see here. What was his name? Yeah, he played Luigi. I remember that. Who was the guy that played Mario? When did that movie come out? Do you remember? 1993?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's right. It was Bob Hoskins. That was
he played Mario.
And Dennis Hopper was in it as President Koopa or King Koopa. I mean, they just
terrible.
They totally took everything and just jacked it up. And Frank Welker played Yoshi, which wasn't even Yoshi. It was like a raptor.
Yeah.
Like, it was horrible. Horrible. So we've come a long way from Mario Brothers to Sonic.
Yeah, very long way.
Sonic is obviously way better movie. Way better. And I want to watch it again. Like, I'm going to buy it when it comes out. I want to show my wife this movie because she goes, do you think I'd like it? I was like, I think you would seriously enjoy it because I thought it was funny. It was enjoyable. It was a great movie all the way around. It was a good time for kids, adults, the whole 9 yards. And I think it was more fun for adults because of Jim Carrey and getting to see him in that old 90s nostalgia.
Certainly.
Man, it was a fun movie. It was fast paced. It was short. It was like an hour and a half. I want to say.
But like you said, it needed to be that.
Yeah. Its shorter runtime was good because with kids movies, it always has to be a shorter runtime so it's got to keep their interest. You can't have a kids movie be Avengers Endgame style because they'd be losing their minds.
Oh my gosh!
Hell, taking my brothers to go see who are younger. I mean, one of my brothers is 18 years younger than me, and the other one's 14 years younger than me. The one that's 18 years younger than me, he can barely stay awake through a movie.
Right.
Like, I remember going to take him to see Age of Ultron, and he fell asleep during the Hulkbuster fight. So he made me take him go back to see it again, just so he could watch the Hulkbuster fight. Well, to his credit, he stayed awake through the whole movie that time. That was about the 6th or 7th time I'd seen it. I fell asleep during the Hulkbuster fight, and he woke me up. He goes, "Nit, you missed it." I'm like, "It's okay. I've seen it. That's good. Did you enjoy it?" "Yeah, it was really cool. Thanks for bringing it back."
Okay.
"You're welcome. I'm going back to sleep." This is like one of the few times in my life I've actually fallen asleep at the movie. Now, to be fair, I just got in a 12-hour night shift, so I was done at that point.
I fell asleep in the marathon of Avengers.
The first Avengers? Yeah. So, I don't know if you know this, but I know you've seen my medal. I did the first Avengers marathon.
Right.
Where I stayed awake through the whole thing. I got there at like 8 o'clock in the morning, watched Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Cap, and then ended with Avengers. I also did it for Avengers Age of Ultron, which had all Phase 1 and Phase 2 leading up to that point.
Crazy.
That was hard to stay awake through. I think I slept through Thor the Dark World and bits and pieces of Guardians of the Galaxy, which Guardians of the Galaxy was one of my favorites up to that point. But I literally saw that movie about 10 times in theaters. Me and my friend, she was like, we went and saw it, and we walked out of the theater, and she goes, "Do you want to watch it? Do you want to go see another movie?" "Sure, what do you want to go see?" She goes, I really want to see Guardians again. Cool. Turn right back around and went and watched it again for the second time. Man. So we watched that movie so many times. But it's hard to stay awake through those marathons. Like, you got to be a machine.
Yeah.
You got to be a real machine. I wanted to do it for an Infinity War and Endgame, but they didn't have any of those marathons around.
There's one.
It was in New York.
Yeah, that's exactly. They were doing 31 movies. Or
it was 23. It was all
31 hours or something like that.
Yeah, it was ungodly amount of time. Yeah. And I would have done it if they would have had it more. Like, at first I was like, I won't do this again. But then when I was like, I'd do it again. But they didn't announce it for anywhere near me. So I was I took it out of my hands. Can't do it. Sorry. Thank God.
Exactly.
Dodge the bullet here. So my buddy did call out a good point during Sonic. He goes, one day they're gonna get it right. I'm like, what? What do you mean? I was like, they got the video game adaption right. That was it. They just got it right. They nailed it. That and Detective Pikachu, they got the formula down. He goes, no, it's the fast moving, the way these guys move so fast. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know how he was running 300 miles per hour, and then other times he could completely stop time, like when the bar fight, and nobody was moving at all. And then in one of the last scenes, he stopped time to start blowing up all those missiles and those drones and moving the bullets, yet Dr. Robotnik's finger was still moving slowly. You're telling me his finger moves faster than the bullets?
Exactly.
I'm like, you got a good point, but I understand why they needed to make his finger move, because they needed to get him moving, because once he hit that button, his ship drew from the Quill's power and is able to keep up with him.
Right.
So I was like, I understand it, but you got a good point. Like, you genuinely have... I never thought of it that way. Like, that was a good point. Mm-hmm. And, maybe someday they will get it right. I can't think of a movie... Even Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, he could move at such super fast speeds, but there was times where it's like, oh yeah, they can see him moving or stuff like that.
Right.
It was like, Apocalypse could stop him by moving the sand right before he stepped there. I was like, Apocalypse doesn't have super speed like that. He really can't do that. But okay.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's believable that Superman can do it with the Flash.
Yeah. They can. But his point was in Smallville. He goes, it always blew my mind that Superman could run past those bullets, yet could barely save a person from getting run over by a 60-mile-per-hour truck. I was like, fair point.
Yeah.
That's fair. But that was also a TV show, so that's fair. But they did really good with his super speed. His powers when he activated them were really cool. Like, those were visually stunning. Like, the blue lightning and everything. I was like, man, they're going to have to step up their game for Flash when it comes to the lightning effects, because that did it better than Justice League Flash.
No, I agree.
Though Quicksilver still has the best slow motion stop time scene ever, with Time in a Bottle and Days of Future Past. Like, that set the bar.
It did, really.
Well, in another one of the reviews I read for Sonic, somebody said, "Oh, you've seen it all before." Yeah, but like you said, it's hard to come up with new things for super speed. There's only so much you can do with super speed.
Because it's going to do exactly what they show in the movies.
Yeah,
if you're moving that fast, everything else is going to look like it's standing still.
I do like how when his time slowed down for him, he's moving at a normal pace,
right?
Kind of. And then there were other times where he was moving super fast while time was staying still. It's like they were just throwing him wherever. They didn't care. It was just all over the place. One of the sadder parts in the movie that really broke my heart was when he was on the baseball field and he was playing with himself and he was showing himself. He moves so fast it seems like he's everywhere at once.
Right.
But it was really sad because he really just wanted friends. Like, it was a very heartfelt movie. Like, you could tell there was some love and passion put into this movie for this character. I can't wait for the sequel. Like, I'm genuinely excited for the sequel.
It's very much so earned a sequel.
I'm just happy Gangster Paradise wasn't played during this movie. It was a long called for. Let's see. Okay, so during an interview with Jim Carrey, he brought up the expansion of the character Dr. Robotnik could lead up to a potential sequel. He's quoted as saying, "I wouldn't mind going to do another one because it was so much fun, first of all, and a real challenge to try and convince people that I have a triple-digit IQ. There's so much room, Robotnik has never reached his hypotheses." I guess that's got to be hard to pretend you have a triple-digit IQ, which was funny. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie was, why it's so hard being the smartest man in the world? And his buddy goes, or his Stone goes, because everybody else is so stupid. Yes. I was like, I feel you there. I get it. Like, I understand that. Oh, jeez. It drives me nuts.
Hey, we end this episode on that note.
Okay. Give it a score out of 10. Go for it.
Oh.
We didn't do that yet.
I'm going to give Sonic I mean, seriously, I'll give Sonic because it was fun to watch. I'll give it an 8.
I give it an 8.5. Yeah, it's up there for me. It was a really good, enjoyable movie. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I want to watch it again, especially when it comes out. Like, I could see myself just throwing that movie on anytime just to watch. Like,
I agree.
When I sit here, edit these, or I have other work to do, I could just put that movie on and just enjoy it.
Yeah, I agree.
It's quite literally up there with Jim Carrey performances like Dumb and Dumber and Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Especially his dancing scene.
Oh, yeah.
That was so funny. It was an amazing movie. I highly recommend it. Definitely go see it in theaters because his powers are really cool to see on the big screen.
Yeah.
And the visuals, top notch. Like, they really put in the effort. And like we talked about a long time ago, people need to show for this movie. After everything they did,
right?
They need to show for this movie.
Do.
And so far they're showing. Kudos to you, everybody that's going out to see this movie. Now, everybody else should go see this movie as well because take your kids. Hell, if you even grew up with Sega games or any games in general, go watch this movie. It'll bring back a lot of nostalgia. Like, it really will. I was sitting there thinking, man, like I told you, I really want to go play Sonic.
One of the great parts is, Paramount Pictures changes their stars in the beginning of the movie to the rings. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
The end credits were cool too. It was an 8-bit character. Yeah. It was the 8-bit version.
And it was the, synopsis of the movie.
Yeah.
The 8-bit. It was nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was enjoyable, and I really enjoyed it. So, everybody should go see it.
Yes, I agree.
Any more notes?
No, sir.
Nothing?
I think so.
Fair deal. All right. I've been Kendrick.
And I'm Mark.
And this has been Movies in Black and White. Thanks for listening.